So, Coach, you guys are coming off a great win against Milwaukee, 1 day of prep before Robert Morris. What are you guys shifting your focus towards with Robert Morris?
Well, first of all, Andy Toole, I think, is one of the top coaches in the league. He's it's been a struggle for him moving into our conference, but from a technical standpoint, they were the king of their conference. They've moved into ours, and we've got a tough league, and it takes time to figure it out, and he has. And this, I think, is his best team since they've been in the league. They've got some dudes, man, and they can play a lot of different ways. They can attack. They shoot a lot of free throws. They've two big guys like us. Our offense is generated by two big guys. Their offense is generated by their 5 and 4 man. So it's going to be, kind of a matchup of strengths together. He attacks our zone probably as good as any coach that ever played against it. There's been at least 3 times over the years playing them that they've done something to us that we had to, after the game, take a look at it, analyze, and figure, okay, we can't play our defense against this action unless we make this kind of an adjustment, and then we have to have a special call for it. And when you can do things like that consistently, you're not lucking into it. So he knows what he's doing. I think they'll attack our zone as probably as good as anybody. We'll attack it all year long, and we got to control tempo. We can't get it up and down, and we got to rebound because that's what they're a very similar team to Milwaukee. Very similar, except they're going to score more inside, where Milwaukee's going to score more outside. But they're going to get a lot of free throws. They're going to get a lot of offensive rebounds, and they're physical.
Oh yeah, rebounding, that was key last night. So it's nice to get a little taste of that and then carry it over to Robert Morris as well. But they've got Dickerson, Fulgaris, and Woods. Those are 3 of their big guys. Any one of them can have a night, or all 3 of them can have a night. So just again, defensively, how do you go about?
Well, the Oladapo or Ola, whatever his name, number 4, that kid can have big games too. So they're a 4-headed monster. But we've got to protect. We just got to play our defense, make them make contested shots, fly at them, and take away the right-hand drive, take away the alley drive, and make them make shots in their initial offense, not through rebounds and things like that. And then it's really important that we control tempo. If this game's in the 80s, we're not going to win. We've got to keep this game into the 60s and 50s, and if we can do that, we'll have a chance.
Appreciate the time, Coach. Thank you.
Yep.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Oakland Basketball Show. My name is Neil Rule, the voice of the Golden Grizzlies. Of course, he is the coach, Greg Kampe. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for showing up on this this is the coldest night in the history of mankind, Camp.
We got one of the smallest crowds we've ever had, too, so I'm hoping it's the cold and not that we lost to almost said it again.
You almost did it again, right?
So...
But no, Camp, we got a big time show lined up for everybody. Jack Golke will join us coming up in about 15 minutes. He's in the G League now over for the Wisconsin Herd. He will join us. killing it. Absolutely.
Yep.
42% from three, so he's definitely doing it up. And Camp, you'll love it. I think he's averaging about 21 minutes a game, and he's getting about 6.5 3-pointers up in those 21 minutes. So he's coming in with an agenda, no doubt.
Well, that's how he's going to – I mean, that's what he does, and that's how he's going to, stick in that league and get a chance to, to make some money and prove who he is. I mean, what he does is he shoots it. He makes hard shots. He shoots it off screens, but hard to guard. And, he's a big, strong kid. And I'm not sure he can guard you, Neil. I know he can't guard me.
Right.
But
I need screens, Cam.
Yeah, but he can do some stuff now, and he's getting the opportunity, and he's stepping forward and doing all the things we watched him do. So I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So
that's why I wanted him on the show, a chance for everybody, because I get asked all the time, what's Golke doing? What's Golke doing? And so get him on the show and give him a chance to answer questions. And if you need to go a little longer than his 15-minute segment, do it.
You know Jack. I don't know if you know this about Jack or not. He'll take the whole show.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah, it'll be the Jack Golke variety hour.
Yeah,
he'll do comedy and everything. No, but we're going to talk to him coming up in about 15 minutes, as we said. But Camp, as we traditionally do, let's cap the week that was in Oakland basketball. And it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. It was a kind of a roller coaster ride in between, wasn't it?
Well, going in, when we got on the plane to come back from Arkansas, and, Smitty just said, our guys are beat, they're really beat. And one of the things that the trip to Hawaii is, I guess we really have to look at it and say, did it hurt us in the long run? Because normally you play that MTE, you play it at Thanksgiving, you get those 3 games, you learn a ton about yourselves, you play great competition, play a couple league games, then you get some time off at Christmas, and we didn't get that time off.
No, it got more. It was extra.
It got worse because then we had the Arkansas game, right? And so we flew 10 hours back, flew to Arkansas, came back, and we really, really put everything into the Milwaukee game, because that was you're coming off. We couldn't start 1-3. They're picked to win the league. They're 3-0, and our kids did a great job. And then we came back on Saturday, and we survived a flurry from Robert Morris at the start. Got back, got the lead, had a 7-point lead at halftime. Got it up to 9 or 10. I think we got it up to 10 with 17 or 18 minutes to go, and things started to go bad. And then we just didn't have anything. I mean, it wasn't that they didn't want to, they just didn't have it. And that travel and that schedule had a lot to do with it. So now so am I making an excuse for them? Yeah, I kind of am. And it's one or the other. It's either, we don't know how to win, which I'm not sure yet we really do. And, 2, we don't close games, which pretty obvious, and we're working on it. We closed the Milwaukee game. But you say, okay, was what we did worth it from a scheduling standpoint? And I'm going to go to my grave saying it was. I mean, Oakland University was on ESPN2 3 consecutive days. We were a standalone game, the only college basketball game being played on Christmas Day at that time on ESPN. You can't, what that does for our brand, our image, our program, recruiting, all those types of things, you can't put a dollar figure on that. And if that cost us a game, so be it. Because the truth of the matter is we've won league championships and people thought we had bad years, right? I mean, I'll never forget sitting at this radio show thinking how great we were, and people call,
I remember those days, Camp. It's like you almost had like an ephany one night.
Right. You listen to people, and they're mad that you got beat in the conference tournament. You didn't. And even, we won an NIT game at Clemson that year, and it was 26 wins or something like that. And there are fans that felt that was a bad year. And so when you look at the whole scope of it, that might have cost us winning a championship. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. If it costs us being a top 4 team, then it is a bad deal, right? Because you want to be, you got to be in the top 4. And that's, our goals are always, number 1 goal that we have is to go to the NCAA tournament. Number 2 goal is to finish in the top 4. because that helps you get to the NCAA tournament. Then number 3 goal is to win a regular season championship. And while I could sit here and say, yeah, we've won 11 conference titles, we've done this and that, the guys on this team, we got 11 or 12 guys that don't have any rings because they're new. So getting a regular season championship, in my opinion, is important too. I'm not making excuses. We're just talking through this. I don't think I would go to a Christmas tournament again, but if it was 3 games on national TV with the Kampe, I mean, we beat Loyola Chicago. That's a big win for probably the biggest win in the Horizon non-conference schedule of any team. Wright State's win at Princeton probably equals that, but Loyola went to Princeton and won at Princeton. So, so that's huge for the conference. It's huge for our brand. It's, the TV. Hawaii was great, but honestly, I don't know how you felt about it, Neil, but I've been to enough exotic places and I've been there a couple times. Being away from my kids at Christmas wasn't all that much. Yeah, that wasn't that much fun.
No, it wasn't fun at all.
It didn't seem like, oh, you're in Hawaii at Christmas and how cool. It wasn't. I mean, we were there on a business trip. We worked. We got a win. We should have had a Power 5 win, So I don't know. As I look at scheduling in the future, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stay away from Christmas. More importantly, not because me being gone, but because, you're gone from your kids. Bree's gone. Our support
Smitty's
staff.
Gone. Yeah, everybody's gone.
So I'm going to look at that. And then the second thing is how that affect coming back into conference play. That 10-hour plane flight takes a toll on, unless we could get a charter, where we can get first-class seats for everybody, that would have cost $300,000.
Right.
So, and I didn't win the lottery. If I'd have won the lottery, we'd have
been in there.
Yeah, we'd have chartered for sure. Man. I mean, everybody had their own bed, So I think I learned something. And
Camp,
you can teach an old dog new tricks, I guess.
Camp, and look, if everybody wants to get involved with the show, you can. Twitter with the hashtag AskCampy on the Golden Grizzlies YouTube channel, as some of you are doing right now. And the schedule thing is a topic of discussion. And Gemini fan in the Golden Grizzlies YouTube chat right now says, with the Diamond Head Classic, do you think playing Arkansas on Monday was a mistake? And they had a previous question up there that said, do you think that 6 quad ones is a little excessive?
No. I love your question. And not at all. Playing Arkansas on that Monday, but that's the only day I could get the game.
It's that day or don't play.
When you're Oakland playing quad Power 5s that are going to pay you $90,000 is what we got for that game. Now, we did charter to it, which was a $30,000 expense. So, we cleared $55,000 on that game probably. You're going to take that game and you're going to do it when they say. So yes, the other game that I would have loved to have moved was the Michigan State game. I mean, playing Cleveland State with 1 day rest after playing Michigan State, the emotion in that, I would have done that too. But we're not going to not play Little Caesars Arena on a Tuesday night on national TV. We're not going to do that. As far as the 6 quad ones, I've heard a lot. People have emailed me, texted me. People have told me about some things that were on social media and saying that, we're ruining the confidence of our players. Let me tell everybody that's never played college basketball at the level that we play it at, if you think that ruined our kids' confidence, you have no idea what you're talking. It gave us confidence. I mean, we got Michigan State tied at halftime or a 1-point game?
Yep.
Same with Arkansas.
3-point game.
Playing on national TV, doing things against those teams. That gives you confidence. No, and our guys want that. One of the things I still talk about at my age to my kids when they were growing up was the places I played and who I played against. Now, by the time these guys are 37 years old telling their 8-year-old they're never going to heard of LeBron James, I mean, it's amazing how many people have never seen Michael Jordan play that I deal with. But I played in that, or I played at Fog Allen Fieldhouse. I played with Arkansas. I played, so those are the things that are part of the experience. That's my job, to give these young men the experience of a lifetime when they come here, so that they leave and they love this university and they love everything about it. And we're going to play those games. If it's on me with this new idea of revenue sharing going to the players, I'm telling our fans right now, be prepared. We may play. I get 11 non-conference games. We might play. If I can play all 11, I will, but I probably can't do that. I'll play 9 of them against Power 5 teams because I'm going to be able to take that money that we get and give it to the players. And that means I'm going to be able to get better players, right? So let's say right now the money and everything, let's say next year we could play 3 more games against Power 5 at $90,000 apiece. And if all this goes the way it's going, I'm going to be able, if Oakland allows me, I mean, it's going to have to get through but this is what a lot of teams are going to be doing. That's $270,000 if I get 3 $90,000 games that I can pay players, right? The expense can go to a player. So a guy like Alan McCabe next year, who all of a sudden has been told he got a year back, and he's going to demand he's
going to go to market, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go to market to see what he's worth. I'm going to have some money there to hey, yeah, you're worth this to us. And you're going to see that's the route it's going. I read a thing about Virginia Commonwealth yesterday that every kid on their team next year is going to get $380,000. It's just straight across the board. Every player gets $380,000.
That's what
God,
we're competing
I want to be a player
against.
again. Yeah. I mean, really, wouldn't we all like to be players again?
Yeah.
380, and so the 12th man, even if we do get this, even if I do play 9 to 10 of these games, we're not going to be able to pay somebody $380,000, and surely not everybody, But we're going to be competitive. If we get a pool of $300,000, it's going to be hard. Once this is public and you can do that, now it's going to be hard to raise money because why would you give me money for that when I can go play a game, right? So most people don't want to give money to pay players at our level. What they like to give me money for is, our nutrition program, improve the locker room, travel better, those types of things. Most people that I know that love our program want to help us. And so that's how they do it. They really don't want to say, here, here's this for this kid, and then that kid plays like doo-doo. And then they're like, what? Why did I give that money, right? So it's interesting. I mean, the world's opening up to us. Hopefully there's going to be some restrictions, salary caps and things like that, contracts. But right now it's wide open and it's wild. And so I'm letting you people know there's a chance in the next couple of years we're going to play 1 home game, We'll open with Defiance College, and then we'll play Michigan, Michigan State, Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin, Arizona, everybody. And
well, Camp, I think the common sports fan doesn't understand. There's not an equivalency, right? So you're a sports fan, and you're here in the Metro Detroit area.
Well,
and
what happens is the fans get beat down.
Right.
They want to win, right? And so you go to Oregon State, you got 14-point lead and you lose, and then you play so-and-so, and you go to Arkansas and it's 2 or 3 points, and then they blow it out at the end. And you get, as a fan, you get beat down, and you want to win. You want those kids to win. You're invested in our program. You're invested in our kids. And so your thought is, why are we doing this? Well, I'm just letting everybody know it's not the kids love it, all right? The kids love it. And they would rather do that than play Defiance College. They would rather do that than play a university, even at our level, that we would, if we played it 10 times, we'd win 8. They'd rather play those teams, and it's something to prove because they all aspire to be at that level. They all aspire to play in the NBA, to make money playing basketball, and this is the way to do it. Iron sharpens iron, all that kind of stuff. Trust me, it does not hurt their confidence. Okay? Now, are there negatives to it? Sure. I mean, Izzo and I were talking, and it was funny because he got his 700th, I got my 700th. I'm not bringing that up for any reason other than this conversation. And I said something to him about, if you would have scheduled like Jimmy B did, Boeheim, where Syracuse would play, their non-league 12 games or 11 games, they play all 11 in the Carrier Dome and buy 8 of them or 9 of them, and then, classic games in that.
And they're 10-1 guaranteed. Yeah.
I said to Izzo, I go, you would have, 850 wins right now instead of 700. And he goes, yeah, but what's that going to do for my basketball program and my teams, right? What's the difference between 850 and 7 whatever? And he said to me, he goes, it's worse for you because you're playing 8 to 9 games, 6 games, as they just said, a year. You can't win, or if you do, you're excited when you get 1 out of 6 or
right.
one every. We've got 14 Power 5 wins in the 25 years, so that's more than 1 every 2 years. That's pretty good. But there's a lot, there's 100 losses there too. And if we would have played 100 games and not done that and won just 70 of them, which we win at about a 65 to 70% rate. Actually, we win about a 70% rate of mid-major games. That would be 70 more wins that Oakland's program would have and things like that. So it comes with a price, and you got to understand it. And I'll tell you what, if we had beaten Oregon State, if we'd beaten Nebraska, if we'd won that tournament, then everybody's saying, wow, that schedule was great. When you lose, you look for reasons and excuses. Just like I'm looking for an excuse for why did we lose at home on Saturday in a league game to a team that was 1-3. And I'm giving my players an out by saying the travel and that. But the bottom line is we're 2-3. And now we're
going on the road.
And we're going into the lion's mouth. The toughest road trip in this league for the last decade has been Wright State, Northern Kentucky. And every once in a while, the Green Bay, Milwaukee, like last year, Green Bay, Milwaukee was as difficult because both those teams were really good last year.
Right.
I think they finished second and no, Milwaukee finished 6th, so it was 3rd and 6th because they played each other in the tournament. But this is the toughest road trip, and we're going into it 2-3. So, we could easily come out of it 2-5, and then everybody's going to throw their hands up and say, oh my God, the roof's falling in. We won't do that. We'll say, there's still a bunch to play, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, we'll take our first break, and when we come back, of course, we'll be joined by Mr. Jack Golke. The Greg Kampe Show brought to you by Henry Ford Sports Medicine, the official team physicians for Oakland University and you. For more info, visit henryford.com/athlete. Back with more, the Greg Kampe Oakland Basketball Show, live from RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room. 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
They say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, and it's in!
The biggest games on the blacktop.
4-3. Of course! Borowski from 3!
We need you there.
Golden Grizzlies fans, get out your dancing shoes!
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion. It's your home. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Welcome back to RJ's Pub here in Rochester Hills. It is the Oakland Basketball Show. My name is Neil Rule, the voice of the Golden Grizzlies. Of course, he is the coach, Greg Kampe. Happy to have you all with us here tonight. And Camp, as promised, we are joined by Mr. Jack Golke, live from Wisconsin, playing for the NBA G League's Wisconsin Herd. And Jack, as always, we appreciate the time. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. And I just want to start by saying maybe I can't guard Coach, but I'll just let him shoot.
You heard that?
He watches the show every week.
Oh. I think I would let Neil shoot too, but I know you can't guard me, Jack.
No, but Jack, again, just kind of give everybody the update. Of course, Golden Grizzlies fans saw you in the NCAA tournament make a magic, and then you were the national media darling. You went overseas to play. Now you're in the G League. Just kind of bring everybody up to speed, man. What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been it was up and down a little bit. Went over to Montenegro and got to experience a new culture, a new country, new teammates, all that type of stuff, a new language. And I definitely learned a lot, basketball-wise, but also about myself and just kind of what I want to get out of the whole professional experience and how long do I want to play? Do I want to play if it's how long do I want to play if it's going great? How long do I want to play if it's not going well? And all that type of stuff. And things were going well at the beginning there, and then they kind of trended down. We changed coaches. We weren't very successful as a team. We were about to get relegated from our international competition. So I just made the call that, with my agent that it was time to come home and try to see if we could get a spot in the G League and see how that would go. And luckily, there was a couple teams that I could have gone to, but the Herd just made a lot of sense stylistically, but also obviously a great spot being close to home and be able to get in and work with some great coaches there. So, yeah, just excited to see how the rest of the season goes here.
Well, what made me give you a call today or text you and ask you if you could be on the show was I tweeted out a highlight of you making a 80-footer last night or a couple nights ago in Atlanta. And I just thought, I'd seen your first game when you went, 3 for 4 or something like that. And, it was so good to see that you're getting the opportunity. It's hard to get an opportunity. I don't think Joe Average really realizes that. So you got the opportunity. Now you got to make the most of it. So tell us the difference that you have found from professional basketball to your college days. What's the biggest difference?
Yeah, I would say, it's been great, like you said, just to get the opportunity, and I just want to take as much advantage of it as I can because you just never know when or if another one's going to come. So, yeah, just try to take advantage of it while it's here. And, I'd say the biggest difference so far has just been the kind of, especially in Montenegro overseas, the difference of how your team kind of interacts from college to pro. Like in college, and part of what made us so successful last year is how bought in everybody was and how, well, yes, everyone wants to go and everyone wants to score 20 points and everyone wants to be the leading scorer or stuff the stat sheet, whatever it is. I still think everyone on that team just wanted us to win. Everyone just wanted us to be successful. Well, as part of what I struggled with, especially overseas, was that it's just pretty obvious that some guys are just there to go get their points and then kind of get out of there, and it doesn't really matter too much if they make the right play or if we get the win or whatever it may be. And I know that that's also obviously going to be the case that sometimes in the G League or wherever you go, because at the end of the day now it's about money and it's about this is your job. So just kind of getting adjusted to that and still trying to fit in there and make an impact and try to be a positive force on the team because, for me, I obviously want to play and get paid and make it a job, but I also only want to do it if it's something that I still love, as I always have. So just trying to make that impact.
Jack Golke joining us here on the Oakland Basketball Show. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. And Jack, by all accounts, your time with the Herd seems to be going pretty well. You're shooting about 42% from three. You're scoring about 8 points per game. Yep.
That's about 30%. better than anybody at Oakland shooting it right now. So
the math checks
I might be
out.
able to get a waiver, Coach. I might be able to get a waiver.
yeah, I wish I could get you one, man.
But Jack, when you come in, I mean, I guess discuss your role, Jack, in that, because if you just look at straight box scores, you're playing about 22 minutes a game, but you're coming in, you're getting about 6 threes up per game. That's the role, right? Like you're the shooter. When you come in, you're in there to shoot the basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing that I knew coming in, but is also kind of an adjustment with the G League, is just how many moving parts there are. Like with the Bucks, they're obviously such a good team that some of their rookies or their young guys that they have, they don't need them to play alongside Giannis this year. They would rather have them develop. So some of these games, we might have 4 or 5 players that are on a normal standard contract with the Bucks down playing with us, and that means maybe I'll play 10 minutes and I'll have to try to knock down a couple shots in those minutes. Whereas the first game I played, we only had, I think, one of those Bucks guys with us, and the first time I was there, I played like 35 minutes or something, and got kind of more of an opportunity to handle the ball and try to do some more stuff like that. So yeah, it just really depends on kind of how the roster looks on any specific day of exactly what I'll be doing. But I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's just come in and try to be efficient knocking down threes. And I mean, there's a great example just on the Bucks that I've tried to watch a lot of film on AJ Green of how he's been shooting it this year and how he fits into that style. So just trying to learn kind of on that next level of the pro aspect of how to be that knockdown shooter.
Talking with Jack Golke here on the Oakland Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Jack, the difference between the European game and, say, the G League game, and for fans that might not know the G League's kind of, it's like a tale of two players that are in there. You know, you have your $500,000 a year players that signed in there as kind of like a hold spot to get to the NBA, and then you have your guys that are trying to get a break in and trying to make it, trying to get a 10-day contract to the NBA. On the other side, coming over from Europe, and the difference, as we've seen like in the Olympics and worldwide basketball, European basketball seems to be catching up to the American game a little bit. Talk about the difference between European game and the G League game.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed so far is probably just the speed of the game. In Europe, they definitely play fast in the half court, and their actions are quick and they're decisive and they're very smart players. But just like the other day, we played against the Atlanta team, and they just get up and down so fast that you score, they immediately outlet the ball, and they're going down. They're trying to score like Phoenix Suns 7 seconds or less style. And overseas, it's a lot of, at least the league that I played in, a lot of kind of walk the ball up, get a high ball screen, and kind of just play from there. And the point guard dictates a lot of what happens. And I think here in the professional game in America, whether it's NBA or G League, where I'm getting the experience, is more of, while yes, the ball can obviously stick at times, as we've all seen, but it's not as much slow-paced offense through the point guard. It's more quick pace, just get it up the floor. Whoever's got the first clean look is kind of getting the green light.
My biggest question, Jack, is, Jack Golke fever is still going on over here in America. I mean, I was in an airport the other day, and some random guy's wearing your shot chart sweatshirt, and I just everywhere I go, no matter who we're recruiting, everybody knows your name. Everybody asks me what you're doing. So when you got to Europe, were you a big name over there too? I mean, were the women interested in you over there because you're Jack Golke? Or well, what's going on over there, man? Tell us a little bit about social life.
I mean, I would say, like, there definitely weren't really many people that were recognizing me over there or asking to take a picture or anything like that. There was a couple times where someone would say, hey, I saw you in March Madness, or I watched you in the tournament. But it was more so just my teammates. When I got there, it was funny. They were all, when I told them I was about to leave, they were all like, oh, like we enjoyed having you here. But they were telling me a story of when they learned that I was signing to the team and that I was going to come over, they watched. Of course, they look up to see, like, what type of player did we just sign? Who is this guy? and they said they watched my highlights, and then they all said, oh, I guess here comes this guy that we're just going to grab rebounds for and throw it to him so he can shoot. So they kind of knew what they were getting into. But, yeah, for the most part, it's pretty low-key over there. Not too many people really knew about what had happened.
You didn't answer the most important part of that question. What about the women?
No involvement with women. I'm extremely happy with my girlfriend.
And where does she live? Is she in Wisconsin with you now, or is she?
She lives in Ohio, but she will be in Wisconsin joining me we got a homestand coming up soon. She'll be here for that, so I'm looking forward to that.
She was out at LCA for the Oakland-Michigan State game. Yeah,
just wanted to
don't be trying to get the guy in trouble, Kampe.
Just wanted to put him on the spot a little bit. I mean, everywhere I go, it's Jack Golke. You know what I mean?
Well, Jack. Speaking of that, we got a couple of Ask Jack Golke questions from Twitter. As a matter of fact, Sandman on Twitter says, with tax season just around the corner, has Jack been in discussions with the herd about taking a leave of absence to focus on his true calling?
That's a great question. I think I might have to put that on the back burner maybe for the next couple of years until the basketball career is over, and then I can really buckle down and get to the taxes.
Are you still doing the TurboTax stuff, or is that over?
We're working on it. I'm hoping we can get something going before the tournament starts.
Yeah, especially during March. That you definitely got to do that.
If you need some software, I'll hook you up, Coach.
All right,
I might need some advice on. Oh no, I didn't get to make any money off this. You're the one that made all the money. Right. I forgot. Never mind.
And then we got one more for you here, Jack. Sandman asked, thoughts on bringing Golke back as Kampe's replacement when he's ready to hang it up and Kampe's ready to retire from coaching. Got to think a guy like that could recruit with the best of them in the Horizon League. What's your thoughts, Jack?
I think Coach still has a long time left in him to coach this program and get a lot more big-time wins. So I'm going to leave him to that and hope that I can continue to maybe show up for a couple games here and there, because that was a lot of fun to be out there at LCA.
One last one. This comes from Neil R. Jack. Jack, I know you're a big football fan. I know that you're a big Green Bay Packers fan. You've seen what the Lions have been doing. So are you prepared to say that the Packers are a Cinderella?
That's a low blow, Neil, but
factual.
I mean, the Packers got to worry about beating a team that's above 500 before we can discuss that. So we'll see what happens in Philly this weekend.
You get a chance. You beat Philly, you come back here. You could go 0-3 against us this year. That'd be 5 in a row. Oh no, not quite 5 in a row. Whatever.
That would be a blow for sure to go 0-3 against Detroit. That would hurt.
Jack, we appreciate it, man. I know you're right in the mix of your season right now, but thanks for carving out some time and getting out of the gym and getting in here and joining us here on the Oakland Basketball Show. Best of luck, man. We're all watching. You know that. We're all pulling for you, and we're keeping tabs for sure, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, guys. It's always great to talk to you.
All right, there he is, everybody. Jack Golke on the Oakland Basketball Show. It's Ask Kampe time. Get on Twitter. Get on the YouTube chat thread as well. Launch your questions. We got them running in right now. When we come back, we'll get to all of them. This is the Oakland Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
You know, they say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, and it's in!
The biggest games on the blacktop.
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion. It's your home. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Here in Rochester Hills, it is the Oakland Basketball Show, brought to you by Henry Ford Health. He is the Coach Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Big thanks again to Jack Golke for joining us here on the show. Camp, you ready for some Ask Kampe?
I sure am.
All right, we got a couple of different outlets, of course, on Twitter, X, whatever you call it, the hashtag Ask Kampe. We also have some in the Golden Grizzlies YouTube chat thread as well. We'll start with one here from a usual participant here at the Greg Kampe Show. Klaus asked a question. He's under the weather, so not able to make it out. Missed the game, as a matter of fact, this last game, but he'll be back, Camp. So
I heard he's got pneumonia, so
yeah,
say some prayers for him.
Absolutely. What play did you call at the end of the Oregon State game?
Oh, it was, I wanted to get it in, and I wanted my point guard to come down court, take a step across half court, shake, take a step back three, and give Oregon State 8 seconds to go down and try and beat us. So that's what I wanted, and that's what we did.
Ran it to a T, huh?
Exactly what we wanted.
Okay, moving on with the hashtag Ask Kampe. In the Golden Grizzlies YouTube chat thread, Giovanni Mosheri asked, why is the Wright State NKU trip so notoriously difficult? Is it just about the trip itself, or is it just about those teams being good?
Oh, I think it's those teams being good. I mean, in the last 7 to 8 years, those two teams are always at the top of the league. And you got to play them back to back, and you know, like we've been really good the last 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and Detroit hasn't. So you come here and you've got Oakland, but you've got Detroit. You know, you go up there, and usually if Milwaukee was bad, Green Bay was good. If Green Bay was good, Milwaukee was bad. You would go over to Youngstown and Cleveland State, and Cleveland State was really good, and Youngstown was bad. You know, now Youngstown's gotten good, and but now we don't make that trip anymore. You know, it used to be, now Robert Morris joined, and Roberts has been down, although this is probably their best team they've had since they've gotten in. So it's, you're going to play with 1 day prep. You're going to play somebody really, really good, and you can't cheat that prep because you got somebody really, really good the first game, and that's why that trip's always been hard. Those are two very large arenas, too, and they both are in the top 2 or 3 in attendance. And, you know, so there's just everything about, and, you know, Scott Nagy was a hell of a coach. Darren Horn's a hell of a coach. The guy before Darren Horn was a hell of a coach. His name's Brennan, right?
I'm forgetting, too.
Brennan. John Brannon.
John Brannon.
Yeah. Was a hell of a coach. Got the Cincinnati job. You know, so the coaching had been really good at those. And you know, Clint Sargent in his first year, I played against, you know, our teams played against him when he was at South Dakota State, and I'm sure he's been mentored by great coaches. So it's gonna continue to be a tough trip, and we always seem to get it. You know, we're always at a really critical time of the year for us, and that's part of the luck of scheduling.
Also here with the hashtag Ask Kampe from Barb, as a matter of fact, who's here in the house as well. Jim Larinaga quit because kids went in the portal solely because they could get more money. He was the Miami, Florida coach. Do you think they will ever require college athletes to sign a contract if they receive name, image, and likeness money that they must stay at that school for 3 years or return the money?
We could do a whole show on that. I was texting with Jim that morning. I had gotten word that he was going to do that, and so we kind of text back and forth a little bit, and that's why I quit. I mean, it's dead on the answer. He's done with it. It's hard when you don't have, and most people now are siding with the players and say, hey, the coach has had all the power. You don't have the power. Well, what do you do with that power as a coach? Your job is to turn young boys into men. And that's what this has always been supposed to be about. And yeah, coaches ended up, I mean, My first job as an assistant coach at the University of Toledo, I made $7,500 and got a Vega car, if anybody can remember what a Vega was, right? Little tin box. That's what I got it for 6,000 miles. I didn't get to keep it. I just could use it. And that was what I got paid back in those days. I mean, there wasn't a lot of money. And then it grew into this thing. And where the NCAA screwed up is they never shared. And now it's, you know, it's not sustainable. And Barb, something's got to happen. Whether it's contracts, whether it's, you know, salary cap, whether it's, you know, going back to if you transfer, you know, one of the things that a lot of people are saying is you can transfer, but there's going to be a bounty on you. You know, if you're at Oakland and you're going to go to Arizona, Arizona's going to have to pay us to take you. And then people aren't just going to take everybody because, you know, now you're going to have, I mean, you're going to need a general manager, and it's professional sports is what it's turning into. And I don't like that. And most people that have come up through it like I have, and a lot of people are sitting in this room that are my age, that's not what this is supposed to be, and we don't like it. But I want to keep doing it, and this is what it is. So you got to learn how to figure it out, and it is what it is, man. Go do it. And that's, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. The legislation, the Congress is going to step in, and it's going to get legislated, antitrust laws and all those things. Because right now, the reason there are no rules is because the NCAA cannot win a court suit. Every court case that is going, I mean, you've heard it. If you haven't, this is the latest, the junior college one. A junior college kid sued the NCAA that his junior college year shouldn't count, and he won. And so now they're saying, if you were in junior, like DQ Cole, should have 2 more years of eligibility. You know, so the NCAA has put a waiver out for next year to let all junior college kids that meet the criteria to get an extra year, and then they're appealing the decision. Now, if that appeal happens before next year starts and they lose, DQ would have 2 years. Al McCabe would have 1. Baru would get another year. You know, the kids at Milwaukee, Stillwell, would get 2 more years. I mean, if I'm a senior in high school, what does that mean for me? Right? Why would I take a senior in high school? Why would I take an 18-year-old kid when I can get a guy like DQ's 24 years old next year? Why would I take an 18-year-old kid and try and beat 24? That's not. So they've got to look at the totality of it. And everybody with reason is, but you can't win the court suit. You can't win the lawsuits. You can't. So until Congress steps in and legislates, and it it's federal government's got to do it, not state by state. It's got to be federal. And somebody told me that Ted Cruz was getting involved, and you know, and so it is out there, and it's being looked at, and something's going to happen. What it is, I have no clue. All I know is I'm hanging on.
Pittsburgh Marty, I'm slipping, Camp. 2 people beat me to the first questions tonight. You surely have had teams where you've had to go on the road and get a few wins after a tough loss at home. What's the mindset playing well away from home? How do you transmit that mindset to the team?
Well, every team's different. You know, last year we were better on the road than we were at home. I contend that we have such a great home court situation that it's actually a disadvantage. Because teams come in here, especially many of the teams in our league, and Jared Calhoun at Youngstown, you know, he turned Youngstown around, and they went from nobody in their stands to being full. And it was a great environment. And he called me and said, "You're right." It changed everything for their home games, because you get kids that are used to going and playing at Youngstown and nobody's there. And it was blah, just get through it, and you know, we're supposed to lose on the road. And then all of a sudden there's 5,000 people there. It's on ESPN, and the road team's now geeked and ready to go and playing great. We get that at Oakland because of our student section, because of our fan base, because of a small arena that's full and loud, and what a great game environment we have. Now, I'd rather have it that way, but it also means teams are going to play pretty good at our place. So there's a mindset, yes, but you have to You have to go into it that there are 20 league games, and you don't worry about anything until you're into the 15th, 16th, and 17th game. And then you figure out what you have to do to reach your goals. And so, yeah, we're 2-3, but you know what? We win 6 in a row, and we're going to be 8-3. And if we're not in first place, we'll be able to see it from there, you know. So it's just, we got to go win the next one. And if we lose Thursday, we got to go win the next one. If we lose Saturday, we got to go win the next one. And you just got to go on and on and on until it's time to evaluate.
Camp, let's do this one. I have a ton of Lions-related ones. I'm going to do the last non-Lions-related one. We'll take the break. We'll come back. We'll knock those Lions ones out, and then we'll take a look at the week. There's a lot of Lions-themed questions here for you. This one comes from the Golden Grizzlies YouTube channel. Jay Money asks, hashtag Ask Kampe, I think the playoff format of the Horizon League is terrible. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, Jay Money, I would like you
It sounds, I like hearing you say that.
I would like you, let's do this. If you're listening, and I hope you are, put that question in for next Monday and tell me what you hate about it and why. And then I'll answer those questions, because I've been around long enough to see why it is what it is and how it's gotten there. And we can talk about that, and maybe there's a reason it is what it is, and maybe, but I want to know what you're saying when it's terrible. What do you mean it's terrible? Pretty damn good for us last year, wasn't it? I mean,
worked out well.
Yeah, it worked out well. I mean, I loved it when it was at Little Caesars, and that even though we wet our pants there and didn't do very well, I kind of liked it, So I think I can bring some light onto what it is and why it is that, and then we can discuss it. So if you're listening, Jay Money, send the question again. Oh, yeah, it's good. I see that bubble, that thumb. Yeah. All right. So see how good I'm getting at this? So re-answer that, or it'll be the first question we take next week,
okay,
and we'll discuss that. Tell me why.
All right, okay. we had one more slide in here. SM Harbaugh, can you provide an update on West Virginia transfer Jeremiah Bembry? Any plans for a bigger role for him, as very few Horizon League guards are his size?
I'd love for him to be playing 40 minutes a game. He's got to earn that. He's got to come to practice every day. He was at a real disadvantage, and when we recruited him, we said, look, come in, JB, come in this year, and almost treat this like a year of junior college, because you missed the whole summer. We didn't get him and our zone is, go back and look at us in the Michigan game and look at us against Milwaukee, right? Look at the difference in that, and that's learning it. It takes a while to learn that thing, and he's thrown into it and lost. And I like him. When we recruited him, we were told he probably doesn't shoot it really well. His dad even said to me, he's not the greatest I think he's a really good shooter. I think he's got great form and technique, and with confidence and reps and that, I think he could be a really, really solid shooter. He's got great size. He's got great athleticism. He's got to get his handles tighter. I'd love for him to be our starting point guard. I'd love for that. But, it's been a struggle for him, and it's not 90% of it isn't his fault. 90% of it is the situation. His coach wants to win, and he's really never been thrown out there in a game yet. I was going to try and throw him out there in the Hawaii tournament, but things were going so well. We had a chance to win that tournament. It just didn't evolve. So there's still great hopes for him.
All right, let's do this. Let's sneak the break in real quick. I got a couple in-house questions, and we'll knock the football ones out as well. A lot to do. Not a lot of time to do it when we come back. This is the Oakland Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
They say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, and it's in!
The biggest games on the blacktop.
4-3. Of course! Borowski from three!
We need you there.
Golden Grizzlies fans, get out your dancing shoes!
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion. It's your home. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Ball show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. He's the coach, Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you all with us here on a very chilly Monday night. I hope the holiday season was great to you. We got to clean up some of this Ask Kampe stuff. And Camp, you're gonna have to go against the grain here and give us cliff notes, I guess.
I am. We only got 8 minutes, so I'm gonna go quick.
All right, we have some in-house ones as well. I missed it. I forget who brought this up here. My apologies for that. If there are basically no home games in the future, what will happen to all the boosters and season ticket holders that are part of the Elliott Room crowd?
Well, there'll be the league. There'll be 10 league home games, and then maybe we'll get 11, so it's just two. I mean, right now we probably play 13 to 14, right? So it'll be 11 instead, and we'll jack prices up so that no, I'm kidding. There'll still be, we'll still work around that, and there'll be league home games in December, and probably not in November, but in December. So I'll try and have at least one home game in November, a couple league games, and then January and February will be jam-packed. And you're going to come because we're going to be good, because we're never bad, right? Have you ever seen a bad Oakland team? You've seen some average. You've seen some not average, but not as good as some, but you've never seen a bad one. So,
also, Camp, what are the rules about traveling on the basketball court? There seemed to be a lot of traveling on the court against Milwaukee, but so much was missed by the referees.
Yeah, and athletes are so explosive, so fast today that, and traveling is a point of emphasis. And when you see me yelling at a ref, if you could hear, usually I would say, that's a point of emphasis. Why, what I'm more upset about is the holding. I mean, we're a very physical team, and so you can't guard Alan McCabe. Christie's going to make shots, so let's just put our arms around them and hold them. And that's not being called, and that has to be called. The travel, I think if you were a referee trying to referee this level of talent, you're going to miss some travels because you want to make sure it is. You don't want to guess. And there's been times that I thought for sure it was a travel, and I go look at it on film, and it's not. That's how good some of these guys are. The Arkansas game, though, they were traveling all over the place, and that really hurt us because of their size and their athleticism. They'd catch that ball, and they'd be off before they even caught it, and that hurt us. But I'm working it. Every time I see it, I'm begging for it, and maybe too much. But you're right. I do think that is probably the hardest thing to call. It used to be the block charge, but they've pretty much taken that out of the game. Everything's a block now. The very, very few charges are called anymore because of the new rule adjustment. Players aren't even trying to take them. That's why you don't see them taking them anymore, because they're going to get called a block.
This is a combination of a couple questions. John
Didn't
Lee.
she have two?
What's that?
Didn't she have two, or did you?
Yeah, that was both
she
of them.
Did
yeah.
Oh.
John Lee said, "Did I hear a play called Jared Goff during the game?" And then, of course, MD Fun asked, "How many quarterbacks active are on the play sheet?"
We have Jared Goff. We have what's the Buffalo quarterback's name?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. We have Jameis Winston, and tomorrow we're putting in Baker Mayfield.
All right, so there's the answer to that.
So what is that, 5?
I believe so.
I was going to call tomorrow Jahmyr Gibbs, but I can't see myself screaming out Jahmyr during the game because I'll come up with the wrong name. I'll blow the name. So we're just going to go with Baker Mayfield.
Or J Money, if you ever
I like that J Money, yeah.
If you ever
We
need
do
a name.
have a play called Money, though, so I can't.
You can change it to J Money,
Well,
I guess.
Jalen is our point guard, right? So I could say, hey, J Money.
There you go. I like it.
Okay.
Gary McCarrick, does Coach Kampe have any tickets to the Lions playoff games that he wants to unload?
No, I have friends that have them, though. I got a buddy with a suite, so trust me, I'm going to be in that suite. I'll be thinking of you, Gary.
Yeah.
I'll wave. Let me know where you're at, and I'll wave down to you.
Horizon Matt and Camp, I'll pull this up for you because there is like a visual to it. While not a Lions fan, I do have a lot of Lions-based questions. You and Aaron Glenn go to the same sitting coach to perfect that older gentleman's leg cross, and they have a picture of you and then side by side of Aaron Glenn on the bench last night after it was a decided issue.
I think he stole it from me.
You think so?
Yeah, I think I was the first time in my watching NFL football that I saw a defensive coordinator or an offense or a head coach sitting in that position while the game was going on. And you know what? I kind of liked it. I thought, man, that was a
things are going well.
Well, that was what's the right word? I don't know the kids' words, but when you're punking, in our day you were punking somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is today, but I was like, hey, Minnesota,
That was a lot of riz by Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, whatever that word is, that he did it. He gained a lot of respect from me.
I think that does it, Cam. So that was the Ask Campy portion. We got about 2 minutes left of the show. You've talked about it. Very, very tough road trip. This will be the second time we see Wright State in Horizon League play already here as we're just barely into the new year. And it's been a tough go in Horizon League action so far.
Yeah, the best offense, Wright State's best offensive team, and Northern Kentucky is the best defensive team. I'd like us to be the best defensive team, so, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But we held Wright State to 16 threes the first time we played them. They were 16 of 31 from the three. So if they're 16 of 31 again on Thursday night, we're not going to win that game. We got to do a better job of getting in passing lanes and closing out and being there on the catch with shooters. You got to play with great desire. Clint's doing a really good year, and it's a tough job when your first head coaching job. You've been an assistant there, and you're replacing a guy that's one of the best coaches around. It's a tough thing, and so I think he's done a really, really good job. They lost Braden Norris for a few games. I don't know if he'll play against us, but I think that's really hurt them in the last few games, not having their point guard, their lead guard. And on a team that gets a lot of assists and makes a lot of jump shots, you've got to have somebody gets them the ball. So I hope he doesn't play. You're not supposed to say things like that, but, I'm just kidding. We want to beat them at their full strength. And Braden's a really good point guard, and their whole team's good. I have the utmost respect for their offense and their team.
All right, well, that will about do it. Don't forget, by the way, the game at Wright State Thursday night, 7 o'clock tip will be on the radio on 1270 AM, the Bet and the Odyssey app at 6:30 on Saturday, 6 p.m. as well. Yes.
Why does it say Oakland will travel to Cleveland State on Thursday night before heading to Hawaii?
Oh, I don't know. I don't handle that.
I think you did this. Huh?
No, I wouldn't do that. I was there.
Well, you're
Cam.
back in a ball hat, and now you're...
Well, it's a Lions Division Championship hat.
Yeah.
That's all right, right?
How cool was that, though? Huh? How cool was it to see the Lions do that back-to-back years? The crowd last night was unbelievable. People I was watching the game with, do I have time? So,
I think we're running out, Cam.
We're
running out.
I'll bring this up next week about golf.
Big thanks to Greg Hessen, by the way, Jonathan Turner here on site as well, and all of you for coming out. The Greg Kampe Oakland Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Well, see you later.